for joining me again at Breaking the Silence Together. For those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Jeannie Perez, and I am the founder of You're Not Alone. It's an organization that supports mental health and addiction by providing professional help, tools and resources, and an ear if that's all that the individual needs for reach out to us. We're just there. We are here to meet them wherever they're at in their journey. This podcast that we do on a daily basis ties in to You're Not Alone. And the reason why we decided to bring this podcast out is to hopefully help others that are out there that maybe they don't use social media, or maybe at this moment that they really need this help, they just don't understand on how to get it. And hopefully we'll be able to reach someone with this podcast that's dealing with our topics that we talk about on a daily basis. Or hopefully just someone that's listening to us that knows someone that can use the information that we put out on a daily basis. And the podcast, what we talk about on a daily basis is what's happening on a daily basis, whether it's in our community, whether it's with a client that I deal with, or whether if this information was brought to my attention so that I can go ahead and share it with someone else. Most of the time it's someone that's walked this journey, has walked and dealt with whatever my topic is, and they share the information with me, and hopefully they're hoping that their information will help someone else out there the same way that they were helped dealing with this situation. So again, with that being said, I just want to say thank you. And our topic today, I believe, is going to hit home not just with individuals that are suffering with mental illness or an addiction, but also with caregivers that are seeing this in their loved ones, or with friends, or with co-workers. But they have to respect their boundaries, because, we have to stay behind those boundaries. We can only cross those boundaries when we are welcomed in. So my title today is that the topic that I want to talk about today, that I feel as though it's really important to get this message out, is not sick enough. Why so many of us suffer in silence. And the reason why I chose that topic on behalf of the information that I'm going to be sharing today is because I feel as though that I've heard where individuals feel as though they're not sick enough. Like other people or individuals, they kind of compare what they're going through with others, and they feel as though they're not doing, other people out there are doing worse than them, so they should just have to just go ahead and deal with it and get through their emotions, get through their pain, because there's other people doing worse. That's how they look at it. That's how their brain is trained. That's how a lot of us, that grew up in underserved communities, minority communities, we were brought up, myself, because I'm Puerto Rican, and I was born and raised in an underserved community in the city of Camden. I was brought up that, if you're asking for help, it's almost a weakness. You got to stand strong. You got to we can't let other people know what's going on in the house. We can't let other people know what's going on with our family. Everything stays behind closed doors. There's other people doing worse, and they're still getting through it. So what makes you think that yours is so important? And unfortunately, a lot of us fall into that myth because we've lived it in for so long that we don't know how to get away from that myth. It's tuned into us, and it's just basically a myth, because I feel as though that no one has to fall apart. It doesn't have to be a crisis, and you don't have to wait till you fall apart to reach out for help. Because someone else's situation is more blunt, more out there, more seen, more visual, doesn't mean that your pain is not real. I feel as though that we need to really realize and understand that sometimes just open it up before it gets too bad, before the storm just overwhelms us, before the storm just crashes us down, where our system completely just breaks down. I think that we should try to open up and reach out for help before it gets bad, before it gets worse than what it is. if you already feel as though you're seeing changes coming on in your emotions and your thoughts, and just your daily routine is just changing. If you're seeing these red flags, these signs, or you've been dealing with these signs for years or months or days, but you were brought up with that myth, you got to really push through it, it's going to be okay, it's going to work out, you're going to find a way, or, you're not doing as bad as such and such, you can just work through it, help is out there for people to just collapse. I want you to know that's a myth, and your pain is real. Reach out for help. You don't have to wait no longer. If you're already seeing these changes within you, or you've been dealing with them for years or months, whatever it is, reach out for help. Because I feel as though that, I know that some people, it happens and they deal with this pain for a long time, and they don't get the help until they actually break down. I get it and I understand it. We're still here for you, and you're still reach out for that help. No matter where you are in your journey, reach out for that help. But my message today is, you don't have to wait until you collapse. You don't have to wait until it gets so bad that you can't function. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait no longer. Regardless of what people are saying to you, or regardless how you've been brought up, or regardless what your feelings are within, your feelings are, I'm not weak, I'm not asking for that help, I'm not doing that bad. But you know that something is wrong, something is different, your actions are different, you're withholding from your norm, not normal, and just life is not going the way it usually would go for you, things are just different, you're isolated from people, you're no longer doing things with other people that you were doing, or you're just detaching from yourself. Because that's what happens most of the time. Most of the time, we start realizing that we're detaching from others, or we start realizing that we're not doing normally what we do normally, but what we didn't realize is we detach from ourselves first. Because that's the way normally it happens. You detach from yourself. You detach from the way you think. So you detaching from your mentally. You detaching from how you react to different emotions and stuff. So you're detaching already from your nervous system. You're detaching from within. You're detaching from yourself. But sometimes when we're already in that dark hole, we're going through so much in our mind, it's going so fast, we don't realize that that's what's happening already. That before we even stop isolating ourselves from our circle, or from doing things, or from work, or just our daily routine, we already detached from ourselves. We didn't even realize that. Because everything has been running so fast. You've been running an adrenaline for so long. And, if there's anything that you get from my podcast today, I want you to really, really understand that I don't care what anyone else is doing around your circle. Don't care about what you see other people doing, or how they're going to feel, what they're going to say, or how you felt that other person was doing worse than you. You're doing better. You can function. Put yourself first. That's one thing you always hear me saying. Put yourself first. Love yourself first. Worry about what's going on with you inside. Don't worry about what's going on with anybody else. Worry about yourself. Get the help that you need. So you no longer have to continue to carry this weight in silence. Because, no matter how much you keep pushing it back, thinking that your pain and what you're dealing with is not as bad as someone else's. So you can go ahead and do this on your own. You don't need that to talk to a counselor. You don't need to talk to a therapist. You don't need to tell nobody your problem, because you're functioning. So you're not worrying about it. Don't do that to yourself. Come in tune with yourself. Really talk to yourself within, because I really do feel as though that the best conversation that we ever have is with ourselves, because that's a real conversation. When you talk to yourself and you realize what is the root of what's going on with you, when you feel like these changes are going on, or you can't get that trauma out of your mind, or the anxiety is kicking your butt, we have to have a conversation with ourselves. We have to come and pause with ourselves, and we have to really realize, what do we need to do? Because we're just as important as the other person that went and got help. We're just as important as them. And our pain and our trauma and our triggers and our addictions are just as important as theirs also. So just because we feel as though that we're functioning every day and we suppressing, these feelings and these emotions that we deal with every second of the day, we feel as though we're okay. But please, just be honest with yourself. If you're not okay and you're listening to my podcast right now, whether it's live, I don't care if it's a year from now, and if what I'm saying to you right now is something that you're dealing with, and you just been hiding this because, you were brought up like me. I was brought up like that. I was brought up where, you did everything on your own, regardless of what your situation was. You really had to stand on your ground, and you really had to deal with it whichever way you can. And we didn't bring, the outside into our inside world, which was our family, which was whatever was going on with us. And as I got older, I realized that wasn't the way I wanted to be. That's not how I want life to be. That's not how I started. That's not how I lived my life when I became an adult. That's not how I raised my children. I raised my children knowing that when you need help, you ask for it. If you need anything, you got to ask for it. If you can't do it on your own, you have to ask. And we're human beings. We don't have to be perfect. And we don't have to be ashamed and embarrassed of anything. I don't care how bad it is. We don't need to be ashamed of it because it's all part of life. Things that happen in our life, different journeys that our life, that are being brought into our world, into our life that we deal with on a daily basis. It's just life, and we have to deal with it, and we just have to do as a family or as an individual, work at it the best we can, whether it is reaching out for help, whether it is involving someone from the outside because they can bring some professional help to us, or they can give us a different light on what we're dealing with. We're going to do it. And that's how I lived my life as an adult. That's how I raised my children to be. You don't have to be in silence about anything. And there's no shame or embarrassment to say I need help. Because there isn't. Because we're not perfect. We're human beings. We're not perfect. AI and computers and robots, they're not even perfect. So what makes us have to live a life a straight line or worry about what anybody else is thinking or saying? So we're going to go ahead and just limit ourselves and brush our own self off on our needs. Why? If other people are being able to get their help that they need out there, and they're reaching out and they're doing what they need in their, with their loved ones, their community, with the people from the outside, of professionals, what makes your situation any less than theirs? And that's what I want you to ask yourself. What makes you any less than anybody else? There is no answer you're going to come up. I hope not, because I'm telling you right now, there is no answer to that. You are no less than anybody else. Your pain or whatever it is that you're dealing with on a daily basis that has you in this situation that you're not living a fulfilled life, you're not living healthy, you're not healing healthy, or you're not recovering healthy. I want you to think about it, and I want you to be real with yourself, be honest with yourself, because your pain and what you're going through is just as important as anyone else's. So you should not be living in silence. You should not be carrying any weight on you, on your own. I'm hoping that someone is really listening to me out there that really needed this today, that really needed this light on them, that really needed this wake-up call on them, letting them know that, I don't care what the situation is. Your situation is just as important as anybody else's. You're important, just like anybody else. You deserve to heal in a healthy way, just like anyone else. You deserve to be on a recovery journey if that's what you want. Life, we have to realize that, and I know a lot of people are hard to even understand this. We control our own actions. We control on how we live our life. And I know it's hard for some people to really understand that because they really never have controlled their life. They've never really lived the life at their own terms. And what I mean by that is, you have others always making a decision for you, or you're always dependent for someone else to love you back. Or you're always wrapping your life, your world around others what they're doing on a daily basis or what makes them happy, or how can you fit in so that you're not left alone in this moment in your life. And I just want you to know you've been given all these other reasons for your power. And you just really need to pause and grab that power back. Whether it's from wanting someone else to love you all the time before you felt loved. Grab that back because you can love yourself. We don't need anyone to love ourselves. That's the main key. So always, always up first is love yourself. That's the best love ever. Pull that power back. If it's living your life through someone else, making them happy, living life the way they want it at their terms, pull that power back and live life at your terms. Because every day you wake up in your own body. Your brain is in your own body. Your arms, your feet, your eyes, your mouth, your tongue, your spirit is your own. So live life at your terms. How you want to live life, not for no one else. If you're trying to shrink yourself or be this person that you're really not, because you're breaking down inside, but you're living this life for others to fit in, pull that power back. Because if that's how you're being, you have to shrink yourself. You have to hide really what's going on with you to be around certain people or be around a certain circle. Pull it back and find yourself a different circle, because that's not the circle for you. And the reason why I'm saying these things is because I know a lot of times, because we give this power to so many different individuals in our circle, in our life, and so much is taken from us while we're shrinking and while we're dealing with so many different pains, triggers, addictions, we don't realize that we gave this power away so long that sometimes we don't know how to wrap our head around it and grab it back and get in tune with ourselves and start living life the way we want to live it. You know, if it's a mental illness, to start healing and reaching out for that help and healing at your terms instead of worrying about someone else telling you, no, you don't need that. No, you don't need to go there to get help. No, you can do this on your own. I want you to just grab that, and I want you to really talk to yourself and figure out what healing means to you. And if you're ready, because like I said, there's boundaries. You know, no one can help you until you make that first step, until you're ready to start healing at your own terms. If you're ready to start getting healing, I want you to talk to yourself and see what healing means to you. And you make that step. You make the decision on how you want to go about this healing process. Who do you want to reach out to bring into your journey? Who do you want to talk to and bring them into your journey with you? Because it's really important that you're happy about your healing process and that you're comfortable and you feel safe in your healing process so that you can heal in a healthy manner. It's going to continue to process every second, every day in little steps. And you're not going to start doubting yourself or thinking anything over or getting halfway there and saying, nah, I'm not happy with this. This is not how I wanted to do it. So that's why you start your process first the way you want it at your terms. It's going to work out for you in a way stronger, positive, healthy manner. And if it's an addiction that you're dealing with, and every day you're just fading away more and more because you're keeping this silence, whatever has brought you to these terms. Because none of us wake up wanting to have a mental illness. None of us wake up wanting to be addicted to anything. You're in that situation and you're fading yourself away every day for a reason. There's something that you're keeping in silence. There's something that you're weighing, that you're carrying around, and you're fading away with it every day. If that's you, I want you to know that you're worthy. No longer to keep giving this power to this addiction. Grab yourself together. Talk to yourself. And if you're ready to recover, if you're ready to really start healing and being sober, because it has to come from you. You know, I can talk until I'm blue. Your loved ones can push you into rehab, counseling outpatients until they go broke. But it's not going to matter. Because unless you're ready for healing, you're ready to be in a recovery journey, you're ready to really stop and become sober, it's not going to work until you're ready, until you say this is what I want, and you make the decision on how you want to start that journey. And you look for, you can get help, but you make your own decision on whether it's the rehab you want to go to, the detox center you want to go to, the outpatient you want to go to, these meetings that you want to go to. Make sure that these decisions are coming from you and that you feel comfortable with the decisions that you're making and that you're happy with the new journey that you're going to be walking on. Because if you're not happy from the start, it's not going to be healthy. And like I said, whether you're dealing with a mental illness or an addiction, until you're ready to bring those barriers down and let someone cross those barriers and help you, and you're ready to make these changes that these changes are going to bring into your life, it's not going to work. But if you're ready, it's going to work, and you're going to be seeing life at a whole total different way. So many good changes are going to come your way, so many positive vibes, energies, and you're going to be happy because this is what you've been waiting for, and you finally started your journey. And I just want you to know you don't have to wait till it's too bad. You don't have to wait until your depression or your anxiety gets worse before you get help. You don't have to do that. As soon as you feel that coming on, or you start feeling yourself different, or if you've been dealing with this for a long time, just get the help. Make that first step and reach out for help. If you're with an addiction, you don't have to wait until you just hit the ground. We don't have to wait until we hit rock bottom to get the help. If you notice that you're falling back, you're falling apart, you're doing things that you normally would not do, with a mental illness or an addiction, please just reach out for help. Make that first step. Catch yourself before it gets too bad. Like I said, it's never too late. It's never too late for help. But if you can really get the help before it gets any worse, it's going to help you out. It's going to help you get where you need to get sooner. I see this so much with my clients, with my community, with caregivers that I talk to. I just see it so much where they say, I waited so long. I wish I would have had done this a long time ago. I waited so long to really talk to somebody about this. I waited so long to get help. I don't understand why I did it. I just wish I had done it sooner. And if that is you, just do it. Just do it. It's never too soon to get help, and it's never too late to get help, if that makes sense. It's never too late, and it's never too early. As soon as you start seeing yourself in a different way, your actions, your emotions, just speak up. Just speak up to someone and get the help that you need. It's never too early, and I'm going to repeat that again. It's never too early to reach out for help, and it's never too late to reach out for help. And I really hope someone's listening to me right now and this is making sense to them, because I really think it's just so important that we understand that there is help for us out there, regardless of where you're at in your journey, regardless if you're just starting out in your journey with these different situations, whether it's a mental illness or an addiction. Even if you just started and this just started affecting your life, reach out for help. And if this has been affecting your life for years, months, days, reach out for help. But it has to be at your terms. It has to be when you're ready. In order to make this happen, in order to make this happen and really happen in a healthy way, it's going to benefit you in the long run. It has to be at your terms when you're ready. So, if it's a loved one that is struggling with this and you know about this, but you just think they're not ready yet, or you just really haven't approached them and where you have realized these red flags, or maybe you do know that they're dealing with this and you've been trying to help them as much as you can, and you have just been keeping this within the family, or you have just been dealing with this on your own, and you really haven't been letting anyone from the outside or professionals or letting anyone else know from your circle or your family what's going on. If you haven't been able to really help this individual till now, please try to reach out to someone else. Try to get that professional help, or maybe both of you need to really heal this together, But you just really need to pull in together and help each other out and get help. Because I know, even speaking with caregivers that have been dealing with this for many years, like I said, I was a caregiver to one of my loved ones for many years that dealt with mental illness and addiction at a very young age. And when I first started seeing the red flags and everything, it was kind of a while already that they were going into the situation, but I was immature to this. I really didn't know what the signs were. I really didn't know what different actions really meant. I had to learn the hard way, and that was really doing hands-on with this individual. And I just want to say that as a parent that dealt with this for many years, it's hard. It's hard. It really is. And it's even harder when you're trying to keep it undercover, where no one realizes what's going on with you, your family, or this individual, your loved one, because you just don't want nobody to think different about them. And that's where I was immature about, that I shouldn't have cared what other people thought. I shouldn't have cared what other people would have said. I should have just really focused right away instead of waiting. I should have just focused on it right away and just got the help, which I eventually did. We did get the help that we needed, and this loved one is doing amazing. I'm so proud of my loved one, but it took time. It took a while to really get to where we're at today. My loved one and myself, it took us a long time to really see things in the light. It took, I don't even know how much financially we put into this. I can't even remember the numbers of different therapists that I've sent my loved one to. I can't even remember the number of facilities that I sent my loved one to. It was just so many. And it just took so many times to really get the help that we needed. Because it's real. And sometimes, like I said, every person is different. Their journey will be different. It might take them 1, 2, 50, 100 times to get the help that they need before they really become the person that they're supposed to be, the person that they want to be. Because like I said, it couldn't have been in my terms, it had to be in my loved one's terms. So that's why I'm saying that your healing or your recovery can't be at someone else's terms. It has to be at your terms in order for you to see the results that you want to see, either as a parent or as a person dealing with the addiction or the person dealing with mental illness. Because like I said, and that's why all my services are free, because if I didn't have the finances, I don't know what I would have done. Because if I say that $200,000 might have been just a little cover of what I put out for my loved one's healing process. They might have just been not even covering 6 months from when we started, and we dealt with this for many years. So I know that healing from a mental illness is very expensive. Healing from recovery is even more expensive. And that's why I said, I was blessed. Like, if I didn't have the finances that I did have, I don't know where my loved one would have been right now. I don't know what type of care my loved one would have got. I don't know if anyone would have even cared of their situation. if we didn't have the finances that we had. And, you know, I was just thinking about that one day, and I said, you know, I'm so proud of this individual, of where they're at in their life right now. You know, I couldn't be more of a proud parent right now. But, you know, I say to myself, how about if we weren't in the situation that we are? You know, like, how about if we didn't have the money to pay one facility $100,000 or have to pay another facility $300,000, where we would have been at? You know, just for medication in one day, it could be $100,000. If you're in a facility, if you're in an outpatient, maybe $500 a day, easily. And that's why I said I have to put services out, tools and resources where anyone can get quality help, get the help that they really need without worrying about how are they going to get the help if they don't have the finances. Because a lot of these health insurances, that's why I don't even take health insurances. I do everything free. Because a lot of these health insurances, they don't even pay for good quality, or they don't even want to pay anymore for mental illness or drug and addiction. You have to fight. You know, we pay so much for these health insurances, but we have to fight with them to get proper care. Or even if they help you out with something, you're paying out of pocket more than what they're paying for you. So I get it. So I don't even want people out there, I don't want individuals that are dealing with mental illness or an addiction to even have to worry about that mess. You know, I just want to be able to, if someone needs the help, whether it's mental illness or an addiction, that they can get it. And that's why all of our services are for free. And if you haven't been on my website to see what we have available out there, either for yourself or a loved one, my website is www.you'renotalone.online. Please go onto my website, take advantage of what I have out there. And like I said, if I can't help you, if our team cannot help you, I'm going to find you the help that you need. I'm going to figure it out for you. I'm going to get an advocate. I'm going to assign that advocate to you, and they are going to find the help that you need. And we're going to make sure that it's no cost to you, because I don't want that barrier to stop you from getting the help that you need. Because the help is out there. The help is out there. A lot of us just don't know which way to go to reach out or get that help. But we do know how to get it. So if you need it and this has been a roadblock for you, or you just don't know where to start, get on my website. We have, like I said, and I'll say it again, everything is for free. And if we cannot help you, I am going to find the help for you. Because as a parent, like I said, I know what it is. And I know the finance. I know the financial drain that this can be on an individual or family or whoever it is, you know. So if you're really out there and you need some type of help, please go on my website, reach out to me. I have a 24/7 hotline that's managed all day, all night by an actual person, not a chat box. We have a live chat on our website also that is managed by an actual person, not an AI. I have an email on my site. Email me that's monitored also 24/7 by a real person. If you reach out to me, no one's going to leave you hanging, believe me. We are going to return your call. We're going to return your message, whichever way it is. We're going to get back to you. But you have to leave us a message. You know, if you're calling me, you have to leave me a message and tell me what is it that you want from us so that I can make sure that I get the right person on your way. If you're sending me a text, you don't have to leave me your name, but leave me a message. You know, text me the information. Don't just say, call me, or can I download something? Tell me what's going on so I can get the right person to return that text. Because like I said, it's not going to always be me. But whoever's monitoring whatever it is, they're going to get the right person to you. But you please leave the information. If you don't have a phone, like I've said, that's why I've done what I've done. If you don't have phone, please find somewhere with internet. You can get to us just as long as you can get to our website. And again, that's www.youarenotalone.online. Get on that website. I have tons of resources. I have ebooks. I have information. And if there's something that you're looking for and it's not on my site, or I haven't talked about it yet, you can't find it out on any of my social media platforms, just send me a text or send me a message. Let me know what you're looking for. I'll put that together also for you and get it out to you, because I know knowledge is power. And the more knowledge we have of what's even going on with ourselves, the more reality we'll have within ourselves, and the hope and the strength and the belief in ourselves on how to get the help that we need. You know, because I know sometimes we have to figure out with ourselves first. And I get it, you know, we all have to really figure out sometimes what's going on with ourselves before we can even explain it to someone else. So, and pause. And that's when I'm telling you, pause. And talk to yourself and ask yourself, what's going on? And then once you figure that out, I want you to reach out to someone, whether it's us or someone else. I want you to reach out and get that help that you deserve, that help that you're supposed to be getting, and live that life that's waiting for you. Because you definitely deserve it. Everyone deserves it. I don't care where your journey is at right now, where in life you're at right now. Everyone deserves to live, not just breathe, but to live. You know, and I know a lot of us that are dealing with a lot of trauma, pain, triggers, addiction, mental illness. We're just breathing through each second every day. We're just breathing. We're not living. You know, and in order for us to live, we have to get the help that we need. And we have to really, really be honest with ourselves to make sure that is what healing looks like to us. Is that what we really want? And once you really feel within yourself and you're loving yourself, and remember, you don't need no one to love you or give you validation or give you permission to get help for yourself. Once you're feeling that this is what you're doing, is what you wanted to do, this healing is going the way you want it to go, this recovery is going the way you want it to go, you're living life at your own terms. That's where you want to be. That's definitely where you want to be. And you don't need no one's permission to get there but your own. You have to be ready to walk that journey and really, really accept the changes that are coming your way. With that one being said, I just want to say I'm hoping that this is really helping someone. And if it's not for yourself, for someone else, please pass this information along. You know, really support them, really help them out, because they really need that extra hand. They really need that extra talk, them extra ears, just to know that they're being seen, that they're being heard. You know, they just need that. And don't give up on them. And don't give up on yourself if you're dealing with this. You know, like I said, it's never too early to get help, and it's never too late. Never give up on yourself. You are worthy. You are enough. On your own, you are enough to love yourself and do things at your own terms. Live life at your terms. If you know and you've been following me, or you know you're listening to my podcast, or you're following my social media, or you're listening to me on the radio, FM radio, iHeart, whatever it is, you know that I'm in this cause 200%. This is something that hit home with a loved one, and I just seen the changes and you know the tearness, the storm that it can bring into a family. And if you're not ready for it, it can really destroy a lot. You know, it can really destroy a family, and it's hard to come back from it. And I get it and I understand it because I lived it. But like I said, you know, the reason why I'm doing this is because I know there's a lot of people out there that won't be as fortunate as I am to be able to give their loved ones the best care that money can buy. And I get it, and you don't need it. You don't need it. You know, our services are free. My support is free. My trueness and my heart is free. And I'm telling you right now, I'm in this cause 200%. I support mental illness 200%. I support drug and addiction, any kind of addiction. I don't care what it is. I support it 200%. I would never, ever stop pushing for changes. and helping anyone with mental illness or addiction. I will continue to push and help as long as I can with this cause and this movement. My tools, my resources, and my services are available worldwide. And I don't know how further I can push because I believe I have hit every country there is in the continent map. But like I said, and I'll continue to say, this need is so big, it's so large, these numbers. And I don't care how many times you look at it, the numbers will never be the same. And, no matter how big of a team I put together or what I have together now, I got to come out, with reality. I would never have enough because the numbers are so large. I would never have enough. And that's what breaks my heart because I know that there's someone out there right now. Even that it's just free help, but knowing that there's quality help out there, and there's a team out there that will walk on this journey with them till the end. And when I mean to the end, it's not until you get healthy from your mental illness or until you get on your, recovery journey and you stop using. No, I'm saying to the end is when I'm no longer visible. Because that will be the end to me, because I'm never going to stop walking on this journey with mental illness or drug and addiction. I will always be on this journey with them regardless. And if you feel the same way as I do, and I don't know how loud and how many times I can say this, please reach out to me. Let's make this movement stronger. Let's make this movement even bigger than what I have it already. Let's get this information out, and like I said, and I'll say it always, it's not about me. It's not about my organization or what I can do and what I can't do. It's not about that. It's about the individual, these beautiful souls out there that need us. We're losing beautiful souls to mental illness every second of the day. They're taking their lives because they no longer can deal with this, or because they feel as though they have no one, or they're just not worthy. They're just taking their lives. But there really is people out there that love them and will be there for them, but they have no clue. They've never heard that, they've never seen it. And with drug and addiction, it's the same thing. A lot of them feel as though they're worthless, or they have no reason to live, so they're fading away every day by just taking more and more drugs, or stronger drug, or stronger drug. And they don't even realize that, and they're going in a coma, or they're going to OD, and their life is fatal, and they're gone. And a lot of times they've never even heard, I support you, I love you, I'm there for you, I'm standing here with you regardless, even if you really don't understand my help, I'm here. A lot of them never felt that. A lot of them have never even heard or seen someone really care for them. So to them, that's impossible. That's not real. It can't be real. It's fake, And that's why I'm saying, if your heart is where I am, maybe you're doing the same thing that I'm doing, or you just feel the same way I do, reach out to me. Let's make this happen, because we can make a change. We can make a change in this world, believe me. I don't care where in the world you're sitting at right now. You can help, because my services are available worldwide. So no matter where you're sitting at right now, and if you're a licensed therapist, a licensed counselor, or licensed social services, or you just want to be an advocate, I don't care where in the world you're at right now, you can help me. You can help these individuals. We can make a change. We can try to put a pause in these numbers. We can do it. Anything and everything is possible. What did I ever think growing up in the city of Camden, underserved? Would I ever think I would be sitting here where I'm at today? I would have never thought of that in a million years, that I would be sitting where I'm at today with my beautiful family, where I'm at financially blessed, I can help others. I would have never thought of this. Would have never crossed my mind, but I'm here. And I'm proof that everything and anything is possible. You just can't give up on it. And I'm saying to you right now, if you're dealing with a mental illness or an addiction, your healing and your recovery is possible, and it can happen, and it will happen. You have to want it to happen. You can't give up on yourself. You have to make that first step. Please do it. Make that step. Reach out for that help. It's here. My agency is here. We're free. And if we can't get you where you need to get you in your journey, I'm going to make sure I find someone that can. That being said, I want to say thank you to everyone that's supporting me. Not just me, because like I said, it's not about me. That's supporting my cause. That's supporting my agency. That's supporting my team. That's getting this information out to their loved ones, the people that they know, and they're coming back to us. They're reaching out. They're downloading my ebooks. They're using my tools and resources because of other people giving them this information. And I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you. I don't need to know who you are. You don't even ever have to reach out to me. But if you're doing this and you're pushing my information out there, you're helping someone that needs help with mental illness or an addiction, I want to say thank you. If you have the same kind of organization like I do, I want to say thank you because you're making a change. You really are. And you're an amazing person, because I'm saying anyone that's helping individuals with an addiction or mental illness is an amazing person. And I want to say thank you. That being said, I want to close my statement with a statement that I really mean from the bottom of my heart. And these are not words that I just read from somewhere. These are not words that I practiced or went to school and learned them. These are words that are coming straight from my heart. These are words that I made myself understand and my loved one understand when we were going through what we were going through. That it's okay to not be okay. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. If you have to rewind this just to hear those words, please do. It's okay to not be okay. What's not okay, and please listen to this. What's not okay is to ever think that you have to walk in the dark, in silence, alone. Never. Never again. We are here. There are people out there, maybe right now in your circle, that want to help you. Just open up, reach out, and get the help that you need. Thank you for joining me today, taking out your time to listen to me. Hopefully I'll see you again tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern, 6 or 6:30. I know sometimes I'm a little late because I'm usually dealing with one of my clients or coming from the community, but I will show up. Thank you again, and until then, take care of yourself and your loved ones.